Hey ladies, it's me Keisha. Welcome if you are new. Today I'm going to be doing a 4.5 month review on Shein Closure Wig. I have been wearing this hair for the past 4.5 months consecutively. The only time I took it off was every 2 to 3 weeks. I took it off to treat my natural hair, but I braid my natural hair right back up and I put the wig on. So this is a full review on Shein wig. I'm going to break down all the details on it. The shedding, the tangling, can it be dyed, the styling, the density, all of that. So if you guys would like to see a full review on Shein Closure Wig, then just keep on watching. The shedding. This hair sheds only when you are styling it. So if I take a comb or a brush and I'm planning it, then you're going to get a few strands. Well, it's none right now because it's already pretty much styled. But if I laid in the bed and just kind of messed the hair up a little bit and I went and kind of brushed it, it'll shed. But if it's just regular and it's already styled, it does not shed at all. And thankfully, this hair doesn't really get poofy, because sometimes when you have cheaper weave in, it'll get poofy, so you'll constantly have to comb it throughout the day. You do not have to comb this hair throughout the day. Once you style it, it's pretty much good for the rest of the day, and the curls maintain itself. But it only sheds when you are styling it. That's all. Density. If you're a 90s babies and you grew up wearing weave in grade school, then you know the hair of Milky Way. This hair kind of acts like Milky Way. How Milky Way hair will be fine and just flowy when you first get it, and after a couple weeks, it'll just get airy and thicker, which you can still kind of, style it and it'll stay in place, but it's not as flowy as it was before. That's how this hair act, but just not in a 2 to 3 weeks time frame. I would say more in like toward the second and third month, it started kind of getting airy and thicker, which wasn't really a problem because I kind of had a problem with the density before where it was thin. So the fact that it got thicker was kind of a plus. But I noticed that it was shed only when I style it, but the thickness, it didn't really take away the thickness just because the hair was getting airy, but it was airy and light, but it was looking thicker, which means that it was getting more nappy. But I didn't really mind it because I love textured hair, so it wasn't really an issue for me. But if you're looking for some really, really fine, silky hair, then this will start off that way, but after about a month or so, it's going to get thick and kind of more textured looking, which it didn't really affect the styling at all. Not at all. It just kind of affected the way you know it's getting airy because you can feel it. But when you're styling it, and even with you guys looking at it right now, you can't really tell that it act like that. So it wasn't a problem for me. Length. This hair is not true to length at all. I brought an 18-inch, and I think it was maybe like a 14.5-inch. And I just went ahead on and add some 18-inch on the bottom and maybe like a couple of them on the side and made it longer. But then the 18 inches was too long because you can see the clear line of demarcation on it. So I went ahead on and added the 18-inch, but then cut them so it made the ends thicker. You know how when you have long hair and you do a blunt cut, it makes it extremely thick, just so that it can have a little bit more density on the bottom of it, and that worked perfectly fine. So if you have some old tracks and you can just kind of add some length to it, then you can do that yourself. But if you want it a little longer and you don't really have hair at home, I recommend just getting it a couple inches longer. That way it's true to the length that you actually want. Curling and styling. This hair styled pretty good. I will say that when I first got it, I can put the flat iron on 300 degrees and I can literally curl it with no problem. But the thicker and more textured it got over time, I found myself having to just jump the curling one up to 410 just to make it curl the same way it used to. So it definitely got more textured and thicker, and it was harder to curl as it went by, versus now I have to curl it, let it sit for a little bit, and then curl it again with it on a higher temperature to get the curls to stay all day. Dye. Does this hair dye? Honestly, that's a question that I can't answer because I have not dyed it yet. But the very next thing I do with this hair is going to be dye it. So make sure that you guys are subscribed so that you don't miss that video when I dye this hair. Closure. The closure started off really hard, which I appreciated because it felt more secure, versus now it's more flimsy. And so I find myself being a little insecure and feeling the need to pull it up some when it's not sprayed on. So just keep that in mind, that it did get flimsy over time. But as far as the density of the closure, it didn't change at all. It was still just as thick. So the closure, I give an A+, honestly. The hair, negotiable. But as far as the closure, it was the one thing that remained consistent outside of it getting a little bit flimsy. But I appreciated the closure. It definitely was worth the money alone. Okay, ladies, so this is my full review on Shein Closure Wig after wearing it for 4.5 months. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I will see you guys later.